I'm a beautiful princess and this is my story. I wasn't born a princess. Far from it. My name is Adana, and for as long as I could remember, I was a slave. I carried water, cooked meals, and cleaned houses for my master, Chief Okoro. My days were long, my nights cold, and my dreams empty. I'd sit under a tree at night, staring at the stars. But even in my darkest moments, I would look up at the stars and wonder, was this my destiny? One fateful day, I was sent to the market to buy food for the chief's household. I was clumsy and scared, and I dropped the basket of yams I was carrying. The other villagers laughed at me, calling me useless. I wanted to disappear. But then, a voice cut through the noise. A royal procession arriving at the market, led by a young prince on horseback. The prince had arrived. Prince Obinna, the beloved son of our king, was visiting the village. I tried to scramble out of the way, but he saw me. The prince helping me pick up the yams. "What is your name?" he asked me kindly. No one had ever spoken to me like that before. I stammered, "Adana, my lord." He smiled and said, "Keep your head up, Adana. There's strength in you." I returned to the chief's house, still shaken by my encounter. Life went on, but something had changed. A week later, messengers from the palace arrived at Chief Okoro's compound. I thought they were here to punish me for something I had done. Instead, they handed the chief a royal scroll. The chief, angry but powerless, hands the scroll to me. It was an invitation. The prince had requested my presence at the palace. I was terrified but also curious. Why would a prince want to see me? A grand palace adorned with gold, intricate carvings, and lush gardens. When I arrived at the palace, I felt like I didn't belong. The guards, the maids, the courtiers, they all stared at me like I was dirt. But the prince greeted me warmly. He told me he had seen something in me that day in the market. He believed I had the potential to be more than just a slave. He handed me a book and said, "Knowledge is power, Adana. I will teach you to read, to think, to lead." And so began my lessons. The prince and the royal tutors taught me everything: history, language, diplomacy. I was like a sponge, soaking up every bit of knowledge. I began to walk taller, speak clearer, and see the world differently. For the first time in my life, I felt worthy. I smiled as I helped a group of villagers solve a dispute in the market. The villagers began to notice the change in me too. They started calling me Adana the Wise. But not everyone was happy about my presence in the palace. Some courtiers whispered that I was just a lowly slave who didn't belong. One day, during a council meeting, the king announced a test. He was worried about a neighboring kingdom threatening war. Whoever could broker peace with the neighboring kingdom would earn a royal title. I knew this was my chance to prove myself. I volunteered even though the task seemed impossible. I traveled to the neighboring kingdom, carrying gifts and messages of peace. The journey was long, and the other kingdom's warriors were intimidating. But I used the skills I had learned: listening, negotiating, and understanding people's needs. I discovered that the other kingdom wanted respect, not war. By the time I returned, I had secured an alliance. When I returned to the palace, the king and Prince overjoyed had already heard the good news and were celebrating my success in the royal court. He declared me a hero and gave me a choice: I could live as a free girl or stay and become part of the royal family. I chose to stay. The king adopted me as his daughter, and I became Princess Adana. The girl who had once been a slave now wore a crown. I now address a crowd of villagers, a confident and loving princess. I use my position to help those who are still struggling, just like I once was. My story is proof that no matter where you start, your destiny can change. Your past does not define your future. I hope you enjoyed the story. Greatness can come from the most unlikely places. Until next time, keep believing in your worth, and thanks for watching. Subscribe in my YouTube channel, like, share, and comment. I subscribe in the comment section and I'll respond to your comment. See you in the next video.